right, welcome everybody to our Bold Penguin webinar. We are so excited that their team is on with us today so they can show you everything that there is about Bold Penguin. You know, we've been hyping them up so much because we see the value in what they have to offer. So we're really excited that you guys are with us today. We know how important, and you guys always hear me say, chat in your questions, raise your hand, ask everything that you need to, and we're going to keep that going today. But what we're going to do is chat in your questions so you don't forget them, and then we're going to answer all of your questions, well, they are, at the very end. But I don't want you to forget your questions, so chat them in, and then we'll just go through them at the very end. All right, here is our agenda for today. So we got a lot to cover, so I'm just going to move through and welcome our guests. We have Kelly with us. Kelly is the account executive on the agency sales team at Bold Penguin, and her role is to demonstrate and educate agency owners on Bold Penguin's platform and how it can help grow your commercial book of business. So that's what we're all here for, is commercial book of business, getting that growing, and Kelly's going to show us how we can do that. And we also have Jesse with us, and he's the senior solutions analyst for Bold Penguin. And Jesse helps the Bold Penguin drive initiatives to help our teams grow their goals. So Jesse started his career in the software industry at CDK Global. So thank you very much, Kelly and Jesse, for joining. If there's anything else that you would like to add, so you can introduce yourselves, and when you're ready, go ahead and share your screen.
I don't think there's anything additional we'd like to add, but thank you so much for that intro. It was very nice.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So I am ready to share my screen. So I'll go ahead and take over from you, and I guess we'll be seeing a PowerPoint here in a couple seconds. I want to confirm, can you guys see my screen right now, Laura? Are you able to see it?
Coming up. There it is. Yes, we can. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you so much. So at this stage, thank you so much, everyone, for hopping on again. As Laura said, we are Bold Penguin. I'm actually going to pass the baton over to Kelly, and she's going to talk a little bit about who we are and kind of an overview of what Bold Penguin can do for you guys.
All right. Well, welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for your time today. Jesse and I are very excited to educate all of you on what Bold Penguin is and why we're here. So let's get started. What is Bold Penguin? Located in Columbus, Ohio. That's where the headquarters is. We have employees all across the country, every state. So we're very spread out. Every single one of us on this call right now is probably in a different state as is. So very cool to see that. Founded in 2016, so we've been around for some time. And just taking a look at this slide here, Bold Penguin offers a lot. We integrate with over 25 industry-leading carriers, and that number is growing. We do have our exchange feature, which Jesse is actually going to dive into here just in a few minutes. We've got best-in-class engineering, which helps with zero downtime. We've got built-in integrations that help with positive workflows. And we've got a streamlined implementation process that helps with onboarding with over 30+ enterprise partners. So this here is the product offerings of Bold Penguin. We've got the agent terminal and the exchange, of which Jesse and I are both going to walk through. We also have our consumer storefront, which is our digital storefront supported by Bold Penguin workflows. We also have our insurance intelligence, which is our clause link, and submission link, which basically leverages machine learning to solve problems, including data enhancement, form extraction, and policy language analysis. So now we're going to kind of dive into what exactly our agent terminal is. Here are a few high-level value stats. Again, we have over 600 agencies on our platform as of today, and we are not stopping there. We are continuing to grow at a very fast pace. Over $19.5 million has been paid by Bold Penguin to partners sending business, and Jesse's actually going to dive into that in just a bit, as I mentioned before. We have over 105,000 monthly quote starts. So again, what we can see going on in our terminal on a monthly basis. which is then equaling 125 million in quoted premium. So again, some pretty high level stats to give you an idea of how big this platform actually is. So again, what is Bold Penguin? You know, the quoting and binding process of small commercial insurance is inefficient. It takes a long time. It's very cumbersome. You're filling out multiple applications, multiple accord forms, not to mention if supplementals are needed, just so tedious. And you're spending a lot of time doing it. So sometimes it ends up being hours, if not days. I myself come from your world. I used to be a licensed P&C agent, and I very much remember what it was like to try to quote small commercial insurance. So Bold Penguin said, look, this is a problem. We have to be able to create a solution. So our solution is our Bold Penguin platform, which is one application. So it's one point of data entry. So as you fill out that single application, it is simultaneously pre-filling the application and all the other carrier portals. Once you complete the application, it takes you to your returned quotes page. From there, you select the quote of your choosing and you bridge directly into that carrier. From there, you're going to bind that policy and service that policy. You are not asking anybody for permission to do so. You have total control. So now we've taken your quote time from hours, if not days, down to a much shorter instance. So that's what we're all about. We're here to put more time back into your day, because as you know, as agency owners, you have a lot to do. You're running a business, you're managing employees, you're dealing with overhead, you're dealing with retention, customer service, new business, renewals. It just adds up. So if we can put more time back into your day, it's just going to be more of an area to allot to those other places. This here is our agent carrier terminal panel. So this shows all the carriers that we have implemented onto our platform. So take a look at that logo, that black circle with the bird inside of it. That is the Bold Penguin logo. So any carrier you see with that Bold Penguin logo, if you have a direct appointment, you'll take your user credentials, plug them into our terminal, and continue doing business as is. You are merely utilizing Bold Penguin for that streamlined process of quoting, one application equaling multiple returned quotes. So again, you'll see the carriers on the top, products on the side. Now, any orange clock that you see, these products and these carriers are currently being integrated onto the platform. As you know, with insurance, it's like hurry up and wait with state regulations and licensing, but in any event, they've all committed. I will touch briefly on the yellow highlight that actually pertains to the consumer storefront I had mentioned, so we can talk about that at a later date. But again, given the carriers that you have access to through AsNoA, we have Nationwide, High, Liberty Mutual, Chubb, State Auto, AmTrust, Travelers, and CNA. So again, any logo that you see with that, with the carrier see with that Bold Penguin logo, you'll plug your credentials in and plug and play. So now I'm actually going to share my screen and I'm going to take you into our terminal. I'm going to actually walk you through a demo. So give me 1 second here. All right, so this is going to be the dashboard. This is where all the magic happens. Quotes are going to be here in the center, easy to find, easy to read. As you notice here, the status of each quote is listed. So you can have some that are in progress, some that are completed, quoted. You may even have some that are inbound, but again, it's going to give you kind of a status update on that. To the right-hand side here, you're actually going to see that I have 2 applications in progress in the last 30 days, and it tells you the estimated premium value. You can always save an application and come back to it. So that's a nice way to kind of know, oh wait, I've got some business on there that I need to be able to address. A couple of nice features as well. You can actually type the title of an application in the search bar. It'll pull it up by itself. Also, if you happen to forget what an application may be about, because I know there's going to be a lot in there, you can select these 3 dots, click View Application Quick Info. Just gives you a brief overview of that quote. Now, before you start an application, you're actually going to go over to this left-hand drop-down menu here and click on Appointments. This will allow you to manipulate the quote based on what you'd like to see. So again, here, it's just going to allow you to toggle on and off which carriers you would like to have quoted. A lot of the agents on this call, I know you guys have a lot of experience and you have a lot of knowledge. You're going to know, you know what, CNA is not going to be a good fit and Nationwide is not going to be a good fit. So I'm just going to turn them off. So you'll simply go through here and turn them off. And again, just to show you, it's a simple click 1, 2 to turn those carriers on and off. So after the appointments are selected, you're going to go back to the main dashboard. From here, you're going to click Create New Application. So we're actually going to create a quick quote together so I can show you guys how that works. I'm going to use my information for the actual contact info. And then I actually have a accounting firm that I found that is right near Asnoa headquarters that I'm going to use just so you can guys have that as a base point. All right, so it's actually, I'm just going to copy and paste. Sorry about that. Okay. So again, pretty simple. The application is pretty self-explanatory. What's nice is that the address will actually pull up powered by Google. So you'll be able to just select that and then kind of power on through. And then you'll click this purple button down here to proceed. So this is a really nice feature. This is something that we're very, very proud of. This allows you to type in any single keyword, any multiple words, and it will start to pull up all the class codes affiliated with that keyword. So for instance, we could type in hair salon, just type in hair, and all of a sudden you're going to get all these class codes. There's over 19,000 class codes. Most people don't have them memorized. I haven't met somebody that does yet, especially if you are hiring new employees. They might not know all the class codes. You're going to have clients that say to you, I do all of this, however, I don't do that. But again, just start typing in all different types of words and different class codes are going to come up. I mean, let's think of a crazy one. Painting water towers. So again, everything's going to come here up here. That's going to allow you to find exactly where that class code should be. So going back to our quote that we're trying to build, we have that Jabrinsky accounting firm that's right down the street from Asnoa headquarters. So we're just going to go through and we're going to clip this one here. So after you have your class code selected, you're going to go to the next step here. Now it's going to take you to your coverage type. Here is where you're selecting your products: GL, workers' comp, BOP, professional liability, commercial auto, cyber, and umbrella. So for today, we'll just select workers' comp. And if you notice, the right-hand side of my screen is going to have this smart eligibility tool here. So again, it's going to show you the carriers that we have eligible. Anybody who's going to be ineligible is actually going to pop out down the bottom. So it shows you that State Auto is out of appetite. They don't do workers' comp for this particular quote. So the system tells you who's a good fit, who's not. Those that are not, there's no need to even bother quoting them. So after the product is selected, you're going to go over to the next step here, and it's going to take you into business details. So you're the business started, the legal entity type, how many employees they have, part-time employees. Next, we're going to go into business operations. So we get a bit more granular here, but again, pretty basic information. And typically business owners are able to kind of give you an idea of what these figures are off the top of their heads. I do want to point out, we have this new feature that we just added. So this actually will allow you to add more coverage if you need. This is great for cross-sale opportunities, or if the client in the middle of this says, you know what, I think I might like to add cyber as well. So again, that's another option that we've added there. So after you complete the business operations, you're going to port over to the next page here. Again, when should this policy start? Tax ID number. And we're going to go next here. So now we're getting into those carrier questions. So to my point earlier, when you have that appointments page, if you know that there's going to be some carriers that aren't a good fit and you don't want to have to answer those questions, just uncheck them. For all the ones that are checked on, you're going to have to answer it's almost like they're supplementals. So think of these as like the need to know questions. So again, you're just going to go through, select your answers here. We'll go over to the next carrier as well. And again, each carrier, thankfully, you're not like filling out an ACORD form for each. I know ACORD forms can be a huge pain point for a lot of agents. And we'll just go through here. We can say Berkshire Hathaway. All right, and then I'll be able to take you over to the returned quotes page. I think, yep, we just got travelers left here. So again, for this, you're gonna just type in exactly what they do, and you'll be able to kind of pinpoint what this description should be. So from now, we've finished the application, and it's taking us into our returned quotes page. So anything you see with a green check mark is going to be a returned quote. You'll be able to bridge directly into that into that carrier from clicking continue to bind. So we've got travelers here, we've got Liberty Mutual. Anything you see with an orange exclamation point, it just means there's an underwriting message. So I am in a beta environment. We do a lot of testing in here. This is our demo environment. But in any event, it's going to give you an exact message. So for example, it would say, hey, your quote's blocked because someone in the marketplace already quoted it. Also, too, to my point earlier, I did mention that you'd have the ability to add additional coverage options based on what that product was. So again, cross-sale opportunities, or if the client chooses to add something. Also, to my point earlier about ACORD forms, I know they can be a huge pain point. They're like a black cloud that sits over your head. The ACORD form is going to pre-fill for you. So that entire application that we just went through is going to transfer over to this ACORD form. It is a fillable form, so you can add more information if you'd like, but you can print this, you can email it, you can send it off to somebody if you have to, but thankfully all that legwork is done. To piggyback off of that ACORD form, we actually have the ability to put it into our terminal as well. So what you can do is, if you have a pre-filled ACORD form in the system, you can actually drop it into a new application here, drop the ACORD form in, it will pull all the data from that ACORD form and then prompt you to fill in anything that's missing. So that's great for not only new business, but also renewals. You know, you get those clients that call you and say, hey, my rate went up, can you shop around for me? So we'll go back to the quote page here, and I'll just show you quickly how the bridge works. So you're going to select your quote, click continue to bind. So now we're going to bridge directly into Traveler's website. Because I am in a demo environment, as I mentioned before, we do a lot of testing in here. It does not save credentials. These are also dummy credentials for our agency. But again, you can just see exactly how this bridge works. So you'll plug in your credentials. Typically, you can have them pre-filled and saved because it's going to be a live carrier. And from here, you'll see that you've got the quote right here. So you'll be able to go through, verify any information, tweak anything if need be, and then you'll be able to quote through to secure that policy. What I did do is I also wanted to show you guys here. So Dobrinsky Accounting, as I mentioned, is right around the corner from Masnoa headquarters. I had gone ahead just to kind of show you for context. I quoted quite a few product lines as well, just so you can see all of the quotes that come back for this one particular firm. So again, any green check mark that you see is going to be somebody that you can bridge into. As I mentioned before, sometimes you're going to see that explanation point. Just click on it for that message. But again, just a really nice way to demonstrate how many product lines can come back for one single application. All right, Jesse, this kind of concludes my demonstration of the agent terminal panel. And Jesse, I'll kick it back to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Kelly. That was really awesome. Thank you so much. I saw some stuff and learned some stuff I didn't know about from originally. So thanks for sharing. That was great. So next we're going to jump into the exchange. So this is not going to be as as fulfilling as hers because there is not an actual solution you guys get to see. So we're going to be going through some PowerPoints, and hopefully I do just as good a job as Kelly did. So going to that first slide, right? So Bold Penguin founded the exchange in 2016 to deliver small commercial risk to agents like yourselves. So Bold Penguin is the market leader. See about 15% of all small business shopping insurance each year, with over 1 million customers. So we also see over 3,000 zip codes touched and 30,000 zip codes touched and about 3,000 plus business types quoted. We can see risk anywhere in the United States, and we can service most type of business that can come through our door. And because we see so much volume, we can support whether you're looking for a niche type of business or alternatively, you are looking for increased volume, right? So as an agent, we know sourcing customers can be difficult. Carrier appetites are fragmented. We built the exchange to drive more value to you guys for that exact issue. You're paying too much for leads. You want more prospects and you're looking for a specific type of risks. You want to grow. Who doesn't, right? So we want to help you guys get there, and that's what the exchange will do for you. Being a referral partner of ours, the exchange gives you access to qualified prospects to drive revenue where your agencies want to grow. Through the Bold Penguin Exchange, the process is simple. Bold Penguin sources small businesses. We pre-qualify them, and we do a one-to-one warm transfer with the data delivered to you via that agent terminal that Kelly just showed you. So on that very beginning page, when there is a quote that comes through, it will say transferred from the exchange, and it will happen while you're on the phone call. So it happens very seamlessly and instantly. On this slide, this is where our commercial insurance center, they're made up of what's called customer success advocates. And when they have a customer or prospect on the phone, this is the list of details that they're going through with them, either confirming that they got from one of our referring partners, or they're filling in the remaining details. So while giving a prospect warm handoff, all the data, again, like I said, is automatically transferred into that agent terminal. Now, this is kind of what that process really looks like from a high level. All the heavy lifting is done, by Bold Penguin with the customer success advocates beforehand. So to start off, the prospect is received by the customer success advocate. They confirm the information and answer any remaining business questions. At the Bold Penguin matchmaking step, Bold Penguin takes that information and matches the prospect with your specific preferences you guys guide us to actually set. You answer a phone call from us, and the CSA performs a warm one-to-one phone transfer. Again, the data is automatically transferred into your agent terminal, so we have that seamless integration. And the prospect, lastly, is now in your hands, and there's no more intervention from any other parties or from Bold Penguin. So it seems pretty quick and pretty smooth, and it is. So, you're in good hands, right? We understand the exchange. It'll be a new product to you guys, and we want to make sure that you guys get a lot of success for it. And how do we do that, right? So Bold Penguin has a team of customer success managers to support your journey through using the exchange. You'll meet with them at whatever cadence you feel like, daily, weekly, monthly, and especially to start out, we can make that daily. And as you guys start to figure out the exchange and you work with those customer success managers on what preferences you want to change from those data fields that we saw in the very beginning, you can adjust those to specific businesses you want to look for, specific revenues that they make, what the number of employees, and so on and so on. It can be very granular. As we said in the very beginning, right? Whether you're looking to for niche markets or you're looking for just increased volume, right? That's where they can help you kind of get through that and have those settings. You guys will be reviewing reports together. You can see those prospect details, commissions earned, what's your conversion metrics, and go over that. And they'll help you compare that to your preferences and your filters that you guys have set up. Another good thing to kind of talk about is when a customer is actually sent from you guys from the CSA, or they call you to try and send you a prospect and you miss a call. Right, so you can actually set up preferences as well to receive calls. So if it's like the first from 8 to 11 or 8 to 10, you like to go through a lot of admin work or catch up on paperwork from the previous day that just really overloaded, you can set up filters from, of course, with our customer success manager to make sure that you get calls only when you guys want calls. You can also limit the amount of calls you want too. So if you're getting 10 calls a day or a week that you have set, and it's too many or it's not enough, you can work with the customer success manager and you guys can change that number of calls. If you go to lunch, you're going to have a 1-2 hour lunch, you can just turn that system off to not call and bring you leads, and you won't be receiving calls. And once you come back, you turn it back on, and you'll have the ability to receive those calls from the exchange. So that is all that I have for the exchange. It is not very complicated of a product, and we do all the heavy lifting for you guys up front. So when it comes to bringing you guys prospects, Bold Penguin will take the grunt of that and help you with setting up those preferences for the specific customers you guys want to come to your day. So at this stage, Laura, I didn't see if you gave Jay-Z and John a bow. Jay-Z from Helpful Insurance is actually going to give us a testimonial first, and then after Jay-Z goes, John is actually going to give you guys a testimonial as well. Laura, would you like me to stop sharing so we can see their videos, or we would like to just have them talk?
Sorry about that. I am adding them on to allow to talk, and they can turn their videos on.
Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna stop sharing so we can actually see them if you guys don't mind sharing. And if you don't want to, it's completely okay. Don't feel like you have to.
So John and Jay-Z, I just made you panelists. So all you have to do is click that button to allow that, and you can share your camera if you'd like.
Hi, it's Jesus. Can you hear me okay?
Certainly can.
All right, the computer did all sorts of fun stuff. Yeah, no, I've used Bold Penguin, gosh, for the better part of 6 months plus. And where we finally landed, where it was most efficient for us, is to really target those sorts of businesses we can't find to alternative meetings. So I'm getting entertainers, short film producers, I'm getting online commercial producers, all sorts of neat leads I can't get otherwise. Now, the online rater doesn't help for that, but it is a pretty slick source for life transfers. At least that's where we found the nicest value. We're binding policies in the $3,000 to $8,000 range that way. So if we can kind of continue that success, that's where it really is valuable for us.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. John, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. How are you doing?
Hi, John.
Hi. Okay, yeah. So no, I basically agree with what Jesus just said. I've been with Bold Penguin for the last 6 months now. And I think Bold Penguin probably is one of the best lead generators we've ever used. And I've worked at State Farm and Farmers, and they both had their huge lead companies they worked with. But I think the quality of the leads that come in is the biggest sell point for Bold Penguin for us. And like Jesus was mentioning, a lot of our clients as well, we chose to go with the more complicated ones, so they don't really fit in the terminal. But it is nice to have the terminal if you're working with the small bobs and shops, 7, 8 carriers at one time. But I think the best part is if you want to go after a certain type of client, we always get leads coming in, and it kind of fits exactly where we're trying to grow our agency. And the leads are very qualified and they are really ready to find insurance, which is really nice as well too. So I think it's a great program. Just get ready for the first month or two to go through the hardships of trying to figure out what the best clients are that you're looking for. But it's once you go through like the first 2 months, you usually have a steady lead coming in, and it's been really good for us. And I think we're at a 80% close ratio right now. So I can't find anyone else that would be able to do that.
That's pretty awesome, John. Wow. Thanks for
Wow,
sharing.
John, that's amazing.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it. Sorry, I didn't know how to end. I'm really bad at presentation.
That's okay. No, it's okay. We can feel the room. I appreciate you sharing. That was perfect. That was a perfect ending. So I'll take that number any day. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. So I guess kind of at the next stage, I'll just go ahead and share my screen again. It's really the end of everything that we have to share, but we do want to hear from you guys, right? So if you have any questions from what you've seen today that sparked any any confusion or just more interest, please open up your mics, or if we have any chats that came through. I don't see any right now, Laura, but and if you have any questions for John or Jesus as well, that'd be great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe I'll add,
Go ahead, Jason.
you've got to be pretty active in how you use the service. If you just say, hey, send me any commercial lead, you're going to get any commercial lead. You're going to get things that you don't know how to write. You're going to get things that probably don't have a successful close rate for you. They've got so many NAICS codes. You could go through it and really just tailor it to those kinds of things you're looking for. Like I said, I'm getting people who are doing short-term film productions, documentaries, things that I can't get through other channels, and they're really slick on the close rate side. I'm also getting a lot of slick commercial auto leads that, I mean, that's a very crowded space out here in California. And if you can land them, you can hit some pretty nice home runs with a few of them. So if you're very particular, you've got the carrier set, you hone in on those, great. If you're open-ended, you're going to spend, like John said, 2 months just trying to narrow it down to where you're good at it.
Right, that's a good point. Looks like we have a hand raised from Heather.
All right, Heather, I have unmuted you.
Heather, we can't hear you, unfortunately.
Can you hear me now?
Sure can.
Can.
Yes.
Hey, so I just had a question in terms of the rater itself. I saw that whenever you entered in the dummy account that you only selected the workers' comp. Can you actually select more than just that one package? And then what does that look like in terms of like what they're qualified for and then where it doesn't fit within the appetite of some of the carriers?
So you can definitely select more than one product line. When I showed the other page at the end that kind of just showed that same accounting firm, but with many more products listed, it just shows you the volume of here's a BOP, here's a workers' comp, here's professional liability. So you can choose all of them. You can choose one of them. You can choose whatever product line you're looking for. I know package deals is sometimes the most advantageous when it comes to the amount of time you're going to be working with a client. And then really, as far as appetite goes, as long as the carrier will take that product in that zip code, it'll take you all the way through to answer those questions. When you come to the returned quotes page, if there's anything that needs additional attention, it will tell you based on that orange explanation point, or it'll give you that green check mark like we saw with travelers. You'll bridge in, and then from there, it'll ask you to verify description, it'll ask you to verify class code or anything else that might be missing. But the system's pretty counterintuitive.
Kelly,
So
can you show
again,
that? Do you still have that pulled up?
yeah, I can get it pulled up. Give me 1 second here.
Yeah, that'd be really nice to see. Yeah, Heather, on her screen, you'll be able to see the kind of those bundles and how they all came together on that last page that she showed.
All right. So I'll share. All right, Jesse, I'm going to stop your screen share.
It's okay, no problem.
All right, can everybody see this okay?
Yeah, we can.
All right, so Heather, this was the quote that we just built on the phone. Again, you'll just see that product here is the workers' compensation. But the one that I also built just yesterday to kind of give you an idea of how many other products you can have. Again, we've got bundles, and then we've got all additional markets. So GL, BOP, workers' comp, BOP, workers' comp, BOP, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then that's because in the application form, which I'll take you back to, on coverage type, I had selected these 3 products. Now, obviously, if you choose commercial auto, state auto would quote, cyber, et cetera. I had also unchecked CNA and nationwide as they would be ones that pull through for the other 2 products. So again, you can really tailor it to each individual application. Because again, there's going to be times where you don't want all those carriers, you don't want to have to answer their questions. And you know, I just need workers' comp, and it's going to be a really quick process like you saw before, or you can make it as complicated as you'd like. But again, just to show you, when you go back to the, here, I'll take you to the review quotes here. Again, all of these return quotes come from selecting each of those individual markets there. And if you go back to the main dashboard, it'll even show you here. So again, we just had done workers' comp on that original application I showed you. But then here we've got GL, workers' comp, BOP, this one, GL, workers' comp, BOP, etc. So whatever you're selecting is going to be the product that shows up. Does that help answer your question?
Yes, it absolutely answers my question. The other thing too that I would like to know is the place where I'm at, we have a lot of contractors here in Colorado. And so I do a lot of stuff that's surplus. I heard you briefly say, and sorry, I was making my lunch, but I heard you briefly say something about actually being able to generate accord forms. So can you actually pull those accord forms from the system, from the portal itself, to be able to export it and send it to other carriers that may not be loaded into the system?
Yes. So that entire accord, so the entire application we went through will actually transfer to an accord form. So I'll pull that back up here. And you can print that, you can email it, you can send it off to another excess and surplus wholesaler if you need to. So right down here, those standard accord forms, 125, 126, 130, that will pre-fill. So again, it's just going to kind of come through here and all that legwork is done. So there's no need to add anything additional unless you need to. It is a fillable form, so sometimes you might have to add info, like, I mean, I can just type in travelers here. But thankfully, to your point, you know, if you get one declination, you then have to start all the way over again. And that's the hardest part about the small commercial insurance industry. I mean, people would ask me for a simple GL and I would cringe because I would spend so much time on it. And by the time the agency actually gets paid, the commission that actually results from that is nowhere near the amount of time you spent. So this is a huge time saver because it slashes that in half.
I
And I
completely agree.
want to add one thing, Heather, too. So I also only work with contractors, and so the accord is nice, but just be aware you have to still basically fill out the accord. It's just the only thing that brings it over is the limits. It's those questions that all the surplus carriers want are all left blank. I don't know if maybe I don't know where it's at in Bold Penguin, but if you go down to page number 2, I believe, on this accord, I think you still have to answer, because they usually won't. Oh, I'm sorry, page number 3, the one with all the yeses and nos. Yeah, like those, unless I don't know where they're at in Bold Penguin, those ones I always have to fill out. So just be aware of that, because they always send it back if we, because I didn't look at it the first time. Unless I missed it in Bold Penguin. I don't know if there is a spot to do that.
No, again, when it comes to the excess and surplus, if there are additional questions that they need answered, you'll then just fill it in here. I know it is tricky, and that's kind of the nature of the beast with insurance, is that, you know, not every risk, I mean, no risk is ever a guarantee. You know, somebody could say, yeah, we take electricians, but then, you know, this electrician has $40,000 in losses. So that's where it kind of just gets tricky. Yeah.
And when you go to surplus, no one ever does the same thing. So it's always a chaotic experience.
Right. But at least, you know, we're trying to find every way we can to make that process more streamlined and easier. And again, it's just, even with like supplementals, I mean, it's, you know, you can spend all day on 3 applications when you've got 10 that you have to do.
Agreed.
All right, thank you, Heather. Any other questions, Heather? All right, Mary. Hi, Mary.
Hi, quick question. Do we have to be licensed for commercial with all of these carriers that are on your Bold Penguin website?
So you have to have a direct appointment with the carrier to be able to utilize them on the platform.
Okay.
And if you're not appointed with some of those carriers, you can talk with agency services, that is NOAA.com, and then they can advise you on what your commercial carrier appointments are.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else have any other questions? I don't see any other hands raised, nothing in the chat.
So real quick with that conversation with the excess and surplus, we do have a flow for integrated wholesale. So something that you'd be able to talk about to some of our like customer success managers or something, that would be kind of a thought to bring out there. We do have a flow for that.
Do you have if I have an Accord form already filled out, do you have an area where we can import that already filled out Accord form?
Yeah, so I'll take you back over to that. So let me go ahead and share screen again.
So if my policy downloaded into Epic, I can review that application, save it, and then upload it into Bold Penguin.
So here, you'll actually take that pre-filled Accord form. You're going to select these 3 dots here, drop that Accord form into a new application. It will
It's
pull
not-
all the data.
It's not sharing yet for me. Is it sharing for you, Jesse?
Not yet, still loading. Looks like maybe try
Oh.
and remove share and try again.
Sorry, it did say it was paused. Hang on. All right, let me try one other thing.
But yeah, Laura, it is very easy. It's a 3-dot button on the main screen, right? Like where you would always start a quote. It's a button right next to start quote. It's very, very easy and very simple to get to.
Can
Okay,
you see the screen now?
yes.
Okay, perfect. So you're going to select these 3 dots here,
Mhm.
drop it into an Accord. So drop that Accord form into that new application. It will pull all the data from that Accord form and then just prompt you to fill in anything that's missing. So when I had mentioned that this is great for only like not only new business, but also renewals, you're going to get those clients that call you and say, hey, my rate went up. Can you shop around for me? So when those Accord forms are generated, this is just a much easier way to just streamline the process.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Heather's got another question. All right, Heather.
Hey, Laura, just so you know, the chat is disabled. That's why you may not have any chats in there.
It's disabled.
Yeah, when I click on it, like it says the chat's disabled. Unless you just put me in the corner, which I mean.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
She,
Try
she
it.
wouldn't do that, Heather.
Oh, there we go. John just put a test in there. Is it open now?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Thanks
It's
for
okay.
letting me know that.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, so everybody should be able to chat in. Oh, so sorry. I came in late. What is the cost of the program?
So that's something that we're not going to talk about on this call. Kelly will be able to talk to you guys after this meeting and kind of give you a breakdown of that whole program cost and everything.
We do have discounted pricing available because you are partnered with AsNoah, and I can walk each and every one of you through that. That will take you through kind of what that looks like.
Yes, there is actually. So let me just jump back real quick and see if I can go easily
Show
to the
that list of
slide.
carriers.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, that was really easy. I've never done that before. Yeah, so here's our list of carriers that we have. Am I still sharing?
Nope.
No, I'm
Nope.
not. Sorry. Yep, so here's our list of carriers.
So again, Jamie, that logo that you see is the Bold Penguin logo. So any carrier you see with that logo, you'll take your credentials specific to you and your agency, plug them into our system, and continue quoting as is. So you're merely utilizing Bold Penguin for that streamlined process of quoting for one application equaling multiple returned quotes. So given the partnership with AsNoah, we've got Nationwide, Pi, Liberty Mutual, Chubb, State Auto, AmTrust, Travelers, and CNA. The clocks just mean that these products and these carriers are currently being integrated onto the platform. As you know, with insurance, it's like hurry up and wait. And then that yellow highlight just briefly depicts another product of ours that we did not touch on today.
Great. Thank you for showing that again.
You're welcome.
John, did you have another question?
Yes, I think it was Jesse that mentioned about somewhere where we could fill out more integrated questions for the excess carriers. I don't know. I think that was Jesse.
Yeah, so there's another flow when you go through all the questions. And if none of the carriers were to fit, there is another question set flow after the fact that can pull into one of our other partner carriers. That you
Oh,
see
it's
on
the
that
one
very-
through like past point.
Yep, that you
Okay,
see there on
okay.
that carrier panel. Yep, but we do
Got it.
have a
Okay.
question.
Yeah, for the
It's fully
GL.
fully integrated.
Awesome. I do love the fact that you guys have direct ENS access. It's awesome.
Thanks,
John, I'm
Julie.
just looking at your question here. Is click to bind basically the rates will not change when moving over to their platform? Correct. What we're looking for is the ability to give you an accurate and bindable quote so that when you do bridge, the rates should not change. Now, granted, each carrier, depending upon the risk, of course, as we mentioned before, with insurance, there's no such thing as a guarantee. There could be additional questions they ask, or there could be something you have to confirm. But typically, when you're looking at those vanilla quotes, they should be the premiums that you see within our terminal page. And it's a very quick 1, 2, 3 bind process.
Any other questions for you, John? All right. Oh, he's good. That's great. So did you say in the exchange, you can pick zip codes if you wanted to, or you could pick class codes?
Yeah, so I'll go back to that slide. Pretty much that slide is like all the points of the questions that we ask up front from the customer, right? And that's how we qualify them. So any of these data points that you see on this screen are filters or preferences, or we call them campaigns, that you guys can customize to go to the specific business that you guys are looking for. So I think it was Jay-Z or Jesus that was talking about, he looked for specific, was it rideshare companies, or just like commercial auto in general, and he wanted, go for specific companies like that. You can come in here and look for specific state, zip code, exactly what you're talking about, Laura.
Okay, that's great.
And also to piggyback off of that, you're working with a dedicated customer success manager who is able to help you really prioritize your appetite as far as what class codes you can write, which ones you absolutely want to write. So they're going to work with you on a weekly basis or a bi-weekly basis. To John and Jesus's point earlier, it does take a few weeks to kind of get into a good groove. But once you do, it's a very well-oiled machine. So you're able to really pick exactly what business you want to write.
That's amazing. Heather would like to know if we can get a copy.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, there you are.
Jesse
I was
beat you
trying
to
to,
it.
I was trying to multitask so we
There
can
you
knock
go.
out many questions at a time. I know we're running short. We're not short. We still have 13 minutes left, so
For
keep the
sure.
questions coming if you guys keep thinking of them. But yeah.
And this is also recorded, so we will put this on our As Noah Training YouTube channel, so you guys can review it at any time or share it with your staff.
You are welcome, Heather.
All right, anybody else have any other questions for the Bold Penguin team? All right, I think I'm going through, no hands raised. I think we're good. All right. So I would like to thank Kelly and Jesse and the Bold Penguin team that are on. Can you guys see my screen okay?
We can.
Yes.
All right, so thank you very much. We greatly appreciate it. And Kelly and Jesse, how can they get in touch with you? Should they just email you right here? Are you going to reach out with them?
So,
Yeah.
so we built a sheet with all these products that we talked about, and Kelly's information will be actually at the bottom of that. So everyone will be getting that sheet that will be shared from you guys.
Okay, that's fantastic.
And my email address is there and my direct line. Whatever they choose, it doesn't matter. They can contact me either way.
Okay, great. I appreciate that. And if you guys think of any questions too, in the meantime, you can always email them to me and I will shoot them over to Kelly and Jesse.